Good afternoon, everyone. We're going to give it just one more minute and see if we can get Regent Crane to join us. Regent Crane, we see your number. Are you there? Can you? I'm doing one more check for committee member Regent Crane. Regent Crane, we're seeing you, your number on, but you're muted. We have Bill Scott joining, so let me get him on and then we can start. Regent Scott, I was just confirming your sound is working. Can you unmute? Okay.
I have no problem getting it to unmute. Yes, I'm here.
Okay, great. Thank you. So if I could have the technical people start the feed. We're good. Okay, and with that, we'll go ahead and start the meeting, and I'll turn it over to Chair Tinsley.
Thank you, Laura. Good afternoon and welcome to the Telephonic Finance and Audit Committee meeting for February 8, 2022. The time is 2:02 p.m. Notice of this meeting was provided to the Secretary of State as required by the Texas Government Code. Please note the audio of this meeting is being broadcast live. Before we take a roll call, I'd like to remind everyone to please mute their phones unless you need to speak. Laura, let's begin with a roll call.
Okay, great. Good afternoon, everyone. We'll start with you, Chair Crane. Chair Tinsley.
Here.
Regent Austin.
Present.
Regent Scott.
Present.
And Regent Crane, are you with us now? Okay, we're going to move on to our system staff. Chancellor McCall.
Here.
Oh, I apologize. I skipped over. Regent Flores.
Present.
Thank you. And Student Regent Sedegas.
Present.
Thank you. And did I miss any other regents? Okay, now I'll go back to the system staff. Chancellor McCall.
Here.
Thank you. Daniel Harper.
Here.
Carol Fox.
Here.
Sean Cunningham.
Here.
Derek Alexander.
Here.
Nellie Herrera.
Here.
Kelly Winnemute.
Here.
Do we have Dr. Hayek on?
Here.
Thank you. And did I miss any system staff? Okay, thank you. Moving on to our institutions, Lamar University.
This is Heidi Taylor. I'm here with CFO Jeremy Alltop and Jamie Larson.
Great, thank you, President Taylor. Sam Houston.
Alisa White.
Carlos Hernandez and McCartney Johnson as well.
Great, thank you. Sol Ross.
Jim Goodman.
Hi, this is Pete Gallego. I believe Bonnie Albright from our team is also on the line.
Okay, thank you, President Gallego. Texas State University.
Jean Bourgeois here, sitting in for Dr. Trouth, who is chairing a SAC COC visit right now. I'm also joined by Eric Algo and Lisa Lloyd.
Great, thank you. LIT.
Lonnie Howard, Rudy Gonzalez, and Amanda Rutherford.
Great, thank you, President Howard. Lamar State College Orange.
Tom Johnson and Mary Wickland.
Great, and finally, Lamar State College Port Arthur.
Betty Renard and Mary Wickland.
Great, thank you. And did I miss anyone else who's joined the call? Okay, thank you. That concludes roll call.
Thank you, Laura. Daniel Carroll and I had an opportunity to review the agenda prior to this meeting. At this time, I'll turn the meeting over to Daniel, who will present the Finance and Audit Committee agenda items.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Today's agenda includes 9 items. The first item is authorization to set meal plan rates. This item authorizes Lamar University, Sam Houston State University, Sul Ross State University, and Texas State University to set meal plan rates effective for the upcoming fall 2022 semester. Each of the 4 institutions have an outsourced food service operation. The average cost per meal is around $5. The overall dining operation is $33 million in expenditures annually last year. The proposed increases is estimated to generate an additional $1.7 million to address food and labor cost increases across the 4 institutions. The proposed rates and the supporting workbooks can be found on the following pages. As a summary, Lamar University, who partners with Chartwells, is requesting a 4.5% increase. The new revenue is $300,000, and the average meal price is $4.34 for the all access plan, which costs around $1,800 per semester. Sam Houston State University partners with Airmark, and after feedback from the students, Sam Houston and Airmark have proposed to restructure their meal plan options. This results in a net increase of around 4% with $360,000 of additional revenue, again, to address the labor and cost of goods. The average price, again, is still around $5 for all access, and the cost is around $2,450 per semester. Sul Ross State University partners with Airmark. They proposed a 5% increase, and the average cost of meal is $7.08. And Texas State University, who partners with Chartwell, is requesting a 2.5% increase, and the average cost again is right under $5 for the unlimited plan, which costs around $2,000 per semester. Mr. Chairman, I'll open it up for questions on our first item. Hearing none, we can move on to the second item, which is the authorization to set residence hall rate. This item authorizes Lamar, Sam Houston, Sul Ross, and Texas State to establish new resident hall rates effective for the fall 22 semester. The increases are estimated to yield $4.2 million in revenue as compared to $67 million in expenses for last year. The proposed rates and supporting materials are included in your agenda. Lamar University is at 2.5% for a single 2-person suite with the cost of $3,100 per semester, and Lamar is at 93% occupancy. Sam Houston State is proposing a 3% increase, and their costs per semester are between $2,500 and $3,500. Depending on the hall. They currently have 3,400 beds and around 97% occupancy. Sul Ross has proposed a 5% increase, as this follows that last year they had no rate increase. Their housing options range between $1,700 and $3,100 per semester. And Texas State University has proposed a 3% increase, and the starting cost is around $3,000 per semester. And they have 6,700 beds, and they're 97% occupancy. Mr. Chairman, this concludes my synopsis of the second agenda item related to residence hall rates. The next agenda item is the 27th supplemental resolution to the master resolution for our revenue financing system. Annually, the board considers an update to our resolution for our TSUS debt structure, and this allows that a maximum issuance of $1 billion for the next year. While that number sounds significantly larger than the past, it does include an estimated $560 million of new debt, which would include the $422 million of tuition revenue bond authority authorized by the state, a possible $200 million refinancing of existing debt, assuming that there's good candidates for that restructuring when we go to market. And then we've been asked to continue to include the maximum authority of our commercial paper program, which is $240 million. A red line copy of the resolution does follow this motion. Unless there's questions on that, the next item is the TSUS delegation of authority to the chancellor to bind the system-wide property insurance coverage for the upcoming year. This item authorizes the chancellor to bind our upcoming property insurance, which will begin on April 30th. The current annual premium is $6.7 million, which covers $4.4 billion in values, and we have a current rate of 15 cents per $100 of value. The rate has increased, and we expect that we'll have still another challenging renewal up ahead, but our rate is still significantly below that of the rate we were paying 9 years ago before we were on our own program, in addition to the improvements we've made. And as we look at our upcoming renewal, we'll continue to look for options to maintain the appropriate amount of risk transfer between our institutions and the insurance market. Unless there's questions on that item, the next item is the informational item regarding the quarterly status of the implementation of audit and compliance recommendations. And then finally, we have the consent agenda. It includes 4 items. It's the conforming changes to the Lamar University Chartwell's contract that would reflect the rates previously discussed. The 19th Amendment to the Sam Houston Agreement with Aramark, again for conforming changes. There's an amendment to the Sol Ross Aramark contract. This one extends the term by 10 years. In exchange, it will provide $1.6 million in capital funds, and then also has the conforming changes to update the meal plan rates. And the last item is a quasi-endowment report for Texas State University that will establish a new quasi-endowment related to forensic anthropology, withdrawals from the NCAA, scholarship quasi-endowment, and then closing out 4 other small endowments, small quasi-endowments. And Mr. Chairman, this concludes my presentation of the finance and audit agenda items.
Thank you, Daniel. Do the committee members agree to move all of the items to the full board for its consideration? Regent Austin?
Yes.
Did Regent Crane ever join? Regent Scott?
Yes, I agree.
And I agree as well. That concludes our meeting for today. Thanks everyone for calling in. Unless there's further discussion, this concludes the telephone meeting today. For the record, the time is 2:14 p.m. I look forward to seeing everyone next week in Beaumont.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank y'all.